Well, it's John Black, Super Chemist. I think this is part 13. We're talking about the deep state. It's a video series. I think the last thing we were talking about was the globalists, that the deep state and these people that want globalization, these globalists, they're the same people. And what is the deep state? It's basically just a monarchy that we have that has been here since George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, James Madison, all the beginning people. They were all royals, and we're just living in a monarchy pretending to be a democracy. And what does the deep state? I have the fiat video series. I have the Federal Reserve Bank series and the World Bank series, and they tell you what the deep state has done since this country has started. You know what I mean? What have they done, man? They have done horrible things. Everything that is bad has happened has been them. They just destroy and collapse societies almost every decade by expanding the money supply, getting everyone into debt, then contracting the money supply to collapse the society. You know what I mean? They call in all their loans, and then the banks call in their loans, and then people get nervous, so they run to the bank, and they all want their money out, and everything collapses. But then when everything collapses, they run in and they buy everything up for pennies on a dollar, right? Because then you can buy stuff for pennies on a dollar. And then they just expand the money supply and return it to where it was, before they started this thing. You know what I mean? That makes all the properties go back up in value to where they were originally, right? So your $100,000 house, they come in after they collapse society, buy it for $1,000, then they flood the money market with money, the money supply, flood it with money, and then they just bought it for $1,000, your $100,000. Now it's worth $100,000 again, and you're there living in the dirt, homeless, with your $1,000, trying to buy money. Food. That's who these are. Every decade almost, these people have literally destroyed our society. And if they ain't doing that, literally every decade too, they do this. We've had war like our entire history of our country, pretty much, man. They own all the deep state people, the royals. They own all the munitions and arms and war factories, and they own the Federal Reserve Bank and run the Federal Reserve Bank that loans out the money to fund the war. So they make money on the interest that that they loan out for the war. They make money on the munitions and arms factories, to supply the stuff to do the war. Then they own the mega construction companies after, that they use to rebuild a country after it's been bombed, that they have bombed. Then they got the World Bank. They run that. And that just forces all the third world countries to take out loans, like a loan shark. They know they can't repay it, but if they don't take the loan, they get shot in the head or go down in a plane. And the next president just takes the loan. Then they can't pay their loan back. Now they got to vote the way they want. Third world country has to vote in the UN the way the World Bank wants them to. They take all their tariffs away, so they have no tariffs. Now the World Bank comes in with their mega mass-produced products, and they take over the entire economy. And they just destroy. That's all they do is destroy. And they are responsible for hundreds of millions of deaths. Think about it. World War II was like 50 to 80 million people dead. They are responsible for every war. They start the war with these the Lusitania for World War One. World War II was with the island, the Hawaii. Pearl Harbor. They instigated all these things, You know, they didn't even instigate Vietnam. They just made it up and said that Vietnam bombed 3 of our ships. Didn't even happen. They found out a year later. Yet, even though they found out a year later it didn't happen, we still kept the war going for 17 years. You know, 9/11, we bomb our own freaking, you know, our own buildings, for God's sakes. For God's sakes, isn't it fishy that George Bush was having dinner? This is what logs show. This is there's hard copies. He was having dinner with Osama bin Laden's brother, George Bush, as president. Well, at the same exact time that they were flying planes into the Pentagon and into the World Trade Centers, the same exact second, George Bush was having, and the bin Ladens have been family members, you know, generations. They've been families to the Bushes. Anyways, they are evil. They've caused every recession and depression that has ever happened. No one or nothing is more evil than the deep state, this monarchy, these royals, because they have taught their children to just disregard everyone that doesn't have their royal blood. The rest of us are just garbage. We're not even human. And how do you know who's in the deep state? You know, or puppet, or brainwashed? Open borders. You know, you just see what they vote for, what they're for. I mean, if they're for open borders, defund the police, no bail. Soros's DAs, soft on crime. They love illegal aliens. They love trans rights. They love, you know, they think men and women are the same. You know who they are. That's the deep state. And you'll say, well, these people down below, they're the deep state because they're brainwashed due to the Milgram effect, the Kruger-Dunning effect, and the Four Lights effect. The public, you know, they use the news as a propaganda machine. The TV shows, sitcoms, reality, they're all propaganda machines. Same with the music, you know, movies. They're all propaganda machines from the deep state. And they make these people brainwashed, man. But they are just a tentacle of the deep state. They just don't know they're a tentacle. Because who would want any of this stuff? Open borders? Just don't vet anybody. Like if I was a dictator in another country, I would be sending my people over, all my spies over right now, and all my terrorists. Even if I didn't have any terrorists or whatever, you know, like people that do that kind of thing, going over to other countries and bombing them, I would definitely start a new agency in my government just to send them over to America. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man, why wouldn't you? I would definitely, you know, empty all my asylums and my you know, prisons and that. I would get rid of everybody. I'd get all the gang members. I'd go round them all up and get them out of there. Send them up to the U.S. And another thing I want to say about Madonna, like, and about these, you know, these celebrities having all these foreign children that they adopted. And I said, well, they might be, you know, sex slaves. I don't think as much they are. I mean, that could be some of them. I'm sure some of them are. But I think a lot of the reason why they're doing that is because they want to feminize these people or masculinize them, you know, change their gender, make them queer, make them, you know, and then they take them out onto the camera. Oh, look, I have 3 children. They're all trans. You know what I mean? They're all transsexuals, every last one of them. like, what are the odds of that? Like, you know what I mean? But I think they're just doing that, or, like I said, they're all pedophiles, man. They're all pedophiles, and you know, the reason why they want pedophiles is because pedophiles, first of all, you can blackmail them, okay, so you can control them, easily control them, okay, because they'll definitely not want that out. Okay, that's the last thing you want to do if you're in prison, is be a pedophile or a rapist, okay. Especially a pedophile. You do not want to be that. You're like, you know, you'd rather be dead than be a pedophile in the prison system. But it's like a virus. This is the thing. See, this is part of their plan. I'm going to get to this in the next Deep State series of videos called "What is Their 100-Year Plan?" This is part of it. destroying the family unit is a big part of it. And a big part of it is the pedophile things. They learned that they could not only blackmail them and manipulate them, but a pedophile has more. You can control their other morals a lot easier. You know what I mean? You can make. They don't have as many morals as somebody else. Like, you know what I mean? And even if they do, so they're pedophiles, man. Eventually they're gonna say, well, I'm a pedophile. I could do this too. You know what I mean? You know, especially if they're being coerced into it or whatever. But yeah, it's like a virus. So if you want to destroy the family unit, right? What's the best way to? I actually had this thing about the theory about this pedophile thing when I was a child, but I never brought it up. You know, usually I have a big mouth about anything. You know what I mean? Never brought it up because I don't want to be connected to pedophilia or whatever. You know, I don't want, you know, associated or whatever. And then I got this theory. Now I'm a weirdo that, you know, because pedophiles, it's a virus, right? See, if you have one pedophile, and then he had, you know, whatever, 5 kids or whatever, you know, half of them kids might grow up to be pedophiles. So now you just doubled the pedophiles. And now them kids are, you know, 2 or 3 kids, they're gonna diddle 2 or 3 kids each. And half of those are, you know, quarter of them are gonna become pedophiles. And it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's why you'll notice that they're always trying to say, oh, don't call them pedophiles, they're MAPS or something, adult, or I don't know. They have a different word for them, though. They don't want you to call them pedophiles anymore. But yeah, this is a great way to destroy the family unit, and that's why all these. And I'm not saying this pedophile idea came out in George Washington's day. I'm saying this is a George Soros, Prescott Bush, Kissinger, Henry Kissinger, you know, all of them people there, you know what I mean? Lyndon B. Johnson, it was their idea. They got this 100-year plan on how to destroy the family unit and globalize. Okay, I don't think it was, you know, this pedophile thing goes all. I think it does go back with the Latter-day Saints, meaning the Mormons, and the you know, the FBI and the Hollywood and that, you know, the cabal. That has been around since George Washington. Okay, but I don't think the deep state really had a plan to destroy society by, you know, making everyone pedophiles. You know what I mean? That came later. I think. Okay, I'll never know, but you know, that's what I think. Oh, I'm almost running out of time, so there's probably going to only be one more video, maybe. So 100-year plan, 200. Okay. Oh, and also the Hinckleys. Remember how I said they're in the Mormon church? A lot of them I noticed were prophets. They were deemed seers or prophets. So hey, they're crazy people. I'm telling you, they got the brainwash cult thing down, and they're doing it now on a global scale with this new cult, the LGBT / woke religion. Also, I wanted to bring up NASA. You know, when I was doing the green stuff, their thing popped up 100 million times. They have to be, and they used to be Nazis. You know, infiltrated. That's why NASA, back in the 70s, 90% of the scientists there were Nazis. You know, from Germany, that they defected or whatever. Another thing that popped up a lot that I noticed going into this research is that it's called the Ways and Means Committee. I don't know what it is. Probably deals with money. Probably deals with the federal income tax, tariffs, and regulations, and you know. But I noticed that a lot of deep state people, all the presidents have been on this. Whatever this committee is, it's important. It's very important to the deep state because they keep putting their own people, their own relatives, and their own puppets in it. I don't know what it is, but someone should look into it.